Well, hey again, my patriotic people. Welcome back to the One-Eyed Podcast, where dad jokes go to thrive and home repairs go to barely get done. I'm your host, Pappy Lozano, a handyman with one good eye, one strong opinion, and one wife who refuses to let me near the electricity box anymore. Today, we're headed out back to that place where American dreams and mosquitoes collide. The Great American Back Porch, and the glorious smell of barbecue rising like freedom itself. That place where sitting and relaxing with friends and loved ones does more to help us to unwind than watching an episode of Puddin's Fab Shop or Morski's Repair on YouTube. Now let's talk about porches. My feeling is that folks underestimate how important they truly are. A porch is where you sip cold tea like you're royalty. You can watch the UPS fella bringing you tools and Amazon goods that you don't really need. You can drop food on the deck and still eat it because the good Lord blessed your wooden deck with goodness. And if you've got a rocking chair, well, now you're officially porch certified wise. My grandpappy, God rest, once said, a rocking chair adds 20 IQ points and removes 10 years of stress. I have to believe him on this, because when I'm out there just sitting in my swing, it seems as if all the cares of the world are simply an afterthought. I tend to believe that the good Lord made this area for us to get closer to Him, in our appreciation for all that He's given us to enjoy. It's medical science, but don't look it up. Now, on my porch, I am blessed to have a propane grill. Here's the story of how this gift of progress landed in my life. You might be shocked by the admission that I use a propane-fueled cooking utensil to do our grilling. Now, I admit it, it ain't the real authentic go to the store and grab a 50-pound bag of charcoal briskets and starter fluid by the caseloads, but you see, I've been restricted to a propane-supported firebox infused with gadgetry too sophisticated for my understanding most days, and flame-restrictive devices pre-installed to suppress my overzealous need to pile up a 2-foot mountain of briskets, plus my leftover lumber from my home projects. This is probably due to exceeding the application of starter fluid to get my grilling going, that my beautiful wife requested repeatedly I keep under control so that the pile of charcoal briskets didn't flame up enough to set off our smoke detectors and have our porch in danger of catching fire. All due to the 5-foot flames shooting up over my rusty grill. Her fear was that some people just can't be responsible enough to carry matches or work with the application of charcoal fire-starting fluids because of my lack of reading the warnings of the proper portion to use to get a grill going by this method. Although I had tried to assure that me keeping my 20-ounce cup of tea as my fire extinguisher was good enough to quench any fire, my wife's wisdom didn't see it that way. I've said it before, and it's worth repeating. Our wives are a gift from God in keeping us men from reverting back to our Stone Age thinking that is embedded in us men. One thing I've learned over these years of marriage is that if one makes the wife happy, then life is truly wonderful for everyone, especially us spouses. All right, let's dig right into some grease-covered knowledge. Welcome to the Backyard Grill. You and I know that there are 2 types of grilling. Number 1, the one grill where one tosses briskets into their bowl-shaped furnace, also called the grill. These grill masters are perfectionists at controlling all aspects of grilling by their use of their internal instinctual premise of temperature regulation and their intuitiveness of knowing nearly every meat's level of cooked condition, from raw to nuclear grilling status for any backyard visitor or family members requested doneness. They're attuned to these kinds of things. As men, we're born with this, but as we grow older, some of us are drawn to other grilling styles. I'll be the first to admit, not always by our own decisions, as is in my case, but nonetheless, it still affords us an opportunity to stand over a grill and be overwhelmed by the smells of our culinary talents. Number 2, then there's the grill masters, who become grill scientists, using all of the data that their propane grills offer them. Flame adjustments, temperature thermostat, and even rotisserie attachments. I still recall my own introduction to propane grilling, thinking to myself, what kind of sorcery is this? This project is more for the ladder grillers, and a club, yours truly, has joined because the choice is no longer just mine to make. But I ain't too proud to say that I miss the flavor of an old pile of charcoal briskets can add to a good cut of meat or other grilling choices like shish kebabs and such. Just thinking about it makes my tongue so shaky it nearly snaps my brains out. I'm getting a bit off track, so let's get back to this week's DIY topic. Okay? Now, this week's DIY project topic is restoring an old grill. Because good patriots don't abandon our steadfast grill soldiers, known as our propane grill accessory. Step 1. Inspect the beast. If it's got more rust than metal, well, you've got to make a choice. Restore it or give it a respectful Viking funeral. One always has the option to rebuild it with a multitude of either generic parts or genuine replacement parts. That choice is one that can keep a grill scientist up for days contemplating. So make your choice boldly, my fellow patriots. Step 2. Clean the grates. Use a wire brush. Don't be afraid to remove the grates and get the undersides as well. While that grease may add flavor to your next grilling meal, sometimes those pesky germs will try to ruin a good steak, potato, or corn on the cob we simply want to enjoy off the grilling surface. So make sure to cover the entire surfaces, on top and underneath. I assure you, you'll gain points from the missus for your cleanliness. Now, if for some strange reason you don't have access to a wire brush, borrow your wife's toothbrush. Just don't tell her I said that. Step 3. Check the propane hose. If you turn it on and the grill hisses like a rattlesnake, don't poke it. Pappy learned that the explosive way, and my wife takes great joy in reminding me of that particular incident. Step 4. Season the grates with cooking oil. Rub them down like you're massaging a brisket back to life. You'll thank me for this step, for the flavor you release, and for extending the life of your grates. You're welcome. Step 5. Fire it up. Stand proud. Put your hand on your heart and give thanks to the good Lord for your DIY talents. But don't get too close when you fire it up, though. Propane is powerful, and eyebrows are precious. If flames shoot too high, number 1, turn off the burner. Number 2, yell for Jesus. And number 3, remind your neighbors by shouting out, "This is not a drill," though they'll probably be running inside anyway. Now, let me tell y'all about the time I destroyed a whole Sunday out on the porch. We had just brought one of those new fancy grills with more knobs than in a spaceship. I have to tell you, I felt like Captain America, except I was in an apron. As usual, that incident could have been related to yours truly not needing any instructions as to how to assemble said propane grill. Thus, there could be some truth to my wife's accusation that I had missed including a particular part in my assembly of our propane grill. Although to this day I am not accepting any admission of guilt for that incident. I had hoped everything would be ready for me to start my grilling, so I cranked it up, turned the starter knob, and bam! I produced one heck of a fireball. You know, one of those that even the astronauts in the space station could have seen. It singed every hair on my arm and face. Truthfully, I smelled like burnt patriotism. My dog Biscuit looked at me like, well, there goes Dad's alibi for being entrusted to ever assemble anything again. Well, about this time my wife opens the door and says, "Pappy, I said put the grill together, not launch the grill into orbit." So there I am, standing, air smoking, apron melted to my belly, and I said, "Sweetheart, this is what freedom looks like." She says, "Freedom better go wash up and put some ointment on, Band-Aid on that there second-degree burn on his forehead and belly." And that's when I realized marriage is just like assembling a grill without instructions. Sometimes the good Lord puts it in us to experience the beauty of what good teamwork can assemble if you just work together. Now, in all seriousness, here's my take on back porches. It seems that as the world has fallen into chaos, at times with so much political and social unrest, we should feel that there is a place free of such strife. To me, my back porch is just such a place. When I'm sitting back there in my chair with my wife and watching our grandkids playing in the yard, I'm reminded that the solitude and peace that I'm enveloped in are much more important than the daily activity of things I have no control over. So many times I'll look around in my backyard and watch birds and squirrels go about their activities without a care in the world. Then I look out front or take a trip into town, and I see some people around my neighborhood, and sometimes I see looking like they have so much worry and strife on their mind over things they have no control over. I listen to neighbors spew forth their concerns, and more than anything, I'm reminded that these were the same people, were once neighbors, whose only concern was what kind of fertilizer they needed to apply, or finding out who the new neighbors were that were moving in across the street. When my friends and fellow patriots come over, they know that in our backyard, all forms of political views and angry thoughts about the world in general, I ask that they leave at the gate or the door to the porch, because I want them to remember America at a time when one could just simply be content to just be in the company of good friends. Maybe what we need to do is look at expanding the back porch area of our lives to be more open to include that area, to be open to all other areas of life. To me, porches are a place where we laugh with friends, tell stories too good to be true, burn meat and call it smoked, and can sit shoulder to shoulder with folks of all opinions without feeling like we have to be argumentative or uptight if we don't agree on everything. Because when we're sitting out on our porches, we shouldn't be asking about politics or beliefs. It should just be our sanctuary, where the only thing asked of one another is whether you want another burger or a refill of your glass of cool, refreshing tea, and share in a good laugh with each other. That's unity. That's America. That's a dang good time. Well, my grill guardians, porch patriots, that's it for episode 2. Today we learned a good porch is a sanctuary. A grill is a national treasure. Eyebrows don't always grow back evenly, and that we should protect our back porches as areas free of politics and strife. Join me next week for episode 3, Snow Business and Marriage Wisdom. We'll be talking about battery-powered snowblowers and the neighbors that love to use them, or at least yours until they can afford one for themselves. Until then, keep your tools sharp, your burgers medium rare, and your faith in this country well done. God bless you, God bless your lawn chairs, and God bless the United States of America. Pappy out.